Hi, Joe Paprocki from Loyola Press for a pop-up catechesis. Did you ever just lay in the grass with someone and stare at the clouds, looking for different shapes and images? Sometimes the person that you're with will say, "Hey, look at that one. It looks like a butterfly or a dog or a horse." And often you have to stare at the cloud for a while to see what the other person sees before you go, "Aha, now I see it." In many ways, this is what it's like when it comes to recognizing how God reveals himself to us. Sometimes we need another person to point things out for us. Sometimes we need to stare at things for a while before we recognize how God is revealing himself. In fact, a friend of mine, Vanita Hampton Wright, who is an author and a spiritual director, teaches that we often need to stare our way to recognizing how God is revealing himself to us, not only through the natural world, but through our experiences and encounters of everyday living. Remember, even the followers of Jesus didn't recognize him at first following the resurrection. Sometimes our eyes are trained to see only darkness and even death. We need to train our eyes to recognize light and new life. We also need other people to point out God's presence to us. We may need to stare a while, but eventually, with their help, we can recognize God revealing his presence to us in our lives. And finally, we are called to help others recognize God's presence in their lives. Many people are experiencing darkness and death, and their eyes can't seem to focus. Through our words and actions, we can help others to see light and new life, and to come to the conclusion that God is indeed in our midst. Remember, we may need to stare for a while, but with the right guidance, we can come to those moments when we say, "Oh, now I see." For Pop-Up Catechesis, this is Joe Paprocki. Until next time, God bless.